All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 745. We love writing heroes that kill. That's a interesting sentence and definitely a video I'd like to watch. This is from Savage Books. I think we've covered him before. I did enjoy his videos back in the day, and I'm glad he's still making them. So he has a great insight into writing, and he's a writer himself. Apparently, he's also an editor. So if ever you have an idea, you can ask for his services. Of course, I do that as well. But
we might actually have a good video again.
This might be a fantastic video. I don't know. I don't know what the content's going to be about, but I do like his opinion. I do like his takes, and he does some very good analysis. So it's 20 minutes or 19 minutes and a half long. It came out in August last year, so plenty of good insight, I'm sure. We can listen to, relax. If you have a drink, just, get it ready. This will take some time. So, Dunn's going to be popping in eventually. Apparently, he was here as soon as we started the call, but...
he was still walking in, and I think he has to find a way into his dungeon.
Yeah, he's got to, wash up and take his shoes off and, make sure all his slaves are working for him or whatever.
Take a shower, saute a steak.
Oh, that takes hours. You can't just saute a steak. That takes
I recently learned you use the word saute in English because you don't have an actual word for it.
Oh.
Because you just this really confused me all the time, because you call doing things in a pan frying, and you call things in a fryer frying, and that's not the same thing.
It depends what your tools are doing, and you use a small amount of oil when you saute, depending on what you're cooking. Like you could use a lot, like peanut oil or whatever, but it's usually high heat, and it's a small pan. That's basically it. And you could use all kinds of ingredients. It doesn't have to be meat. It could be vegetables. Could be fried fish. Whatever you're doing. So
see, you say fried fish, but you saute it.
Yeah, but that's a technique in French cuisine. Like you don't have to saute it. You could just put it in the pan and close the lid, and that's it. So it depends on, you have to move the pan. You have to...
why don't you use the German word? Braten.
The German... Sorry, Mr. German, I don't know the German
Braten and frittieren.
Yeah, so sauteing is when you move the pan up and down, and the thing moves up and down with it. The heat gets shifted around with the oil. It's kind of dangerous. That's why I don't do it.
And it's shit on an induction thingy.
Oh yeah, don't bother.
Because the moment you try that on an induction thingy, the induction thingy stops inducting.
Yeah, don't use an induction stove. So for that technique,
it's great. Induction stoves are great.
Oh, they're fantastic.
God, that I shit fall.
They're very clean. They're very safe. But if you're using oil properly, yeah, that's not going to work very well.
They make horrible noises though if you have sensitive hearing.
Really? Like what?
Yeah, I always, no matter which, some are worse that normal people hear it, but I always hear this energy.
There is any electrical component, but it doesn't make that big of a noise. It's kind of normal.
Yeah, you don't hear that. I'm autistic.
Yeah, but come on. Anyway,
seriously, I hear fucking grass grow. It's annoying. It never shuts up.
Anyway, don't worry about your lack of conductive stovetop. Let's get to the video.
I'm just stalling for time for Dunn.
Dunn. Then I'll be here eventually. Anyway, here we go.
Stories with hero characters have been around forever. I mean, there's literally an entire narrative structural practice called the hero's journey. So to go along with the ubiquitous nature of hero-centered narratives are a bunch of rules and guidelines that writers often follow. They create the paradigm that we've all become accustomed to when interacting with adventure or action-based fiction. And more than anything else, fictions are obsessed with creating commentary around murder. I'm hard-pressed to think of...
No. That's a very specific kind of storytelling, whether you're talking about a police procedural or murder mystery or just your general horror story. But I would say 90%, if not more, of all stories surround the concept of dying or death. And you could argue that the details is the murder, but you don't have to necessarily have a murder in your story to be the most popular category of storytelling.
Any topic more frequently presented in fiction adventure stories than the ethics of killing. It's almost certain that every major villain in your traditional quest narrative is going to have an evil plot centered around, or at least consequentially causing, the widespread deaths of thousands of people, sometimes billions.
Makes
And
for an easy
because
story.
of that, the heroes stand in their way, opposing that evil plan and hoping to save all those lives that would be lost. I honestly feel like I don't even need to give examples of this. It's literally...
But doesn't that also just work with the... Oh no, he stole my girlfriend, or she, or whatever, and I'm gonna save her, so that involves no killing at all. It doesn't need to.
Well, it depends on the context of what is lost. Like if you could say, if you lost a relationship, it's the equivalent of that person has died in your life because they're no longer in it. It depends on what that is. If it's like, oh, I'm going to steal this person from you, I'm going to kidnap them and hold them for ransom, then it's a ransom
but
story.
He's not talking about metaphorical killing.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Psychological loss.
Right.
like everywhere.
I mean,
and this has traditionally
images are
created an
pretty
interesting
obvious.
dichotomy between heroes and villains. The villains represent those who do not value the lives of others, and therefore are free to solve their problems through taking the lives of those that stand in their way. If a writer really wants to press home how little the villain cares about life, they will have the villain kill one of their own men.
I was just kidding. So was I. Oops. No, I wasn't.
This traditionally means that heroes who must stand opposite of the villain, therefore must value life above all else. This has led to...
Not necessarily. There's plenty of heroes that kill, and that's just the nature of the setting. I think, what was it, what's that guy who's science fiction? It was dark, he had like those eyes. Oh, what the hell was his name? Chronicles of Riddick, where it's a very violent scenario, setting, world, sci-fi world, and he's against the necromongers or something like that. Their whole thing is like you kill what you keep, what you kill, and this dude is constantly in near-death scenarios. So if he doesn't kill, there's got to be something weird about him because he's effectively fighting for his life at every turn. So you need
Conan
that.
the Barbarian.
Yeah, it's a brutal. These are brutish stories, and the settings involve war or killing. So it's like if your hero
Most
character,
Greek stories.
pretty much every tragedy involves someone dying, whether it's murder or otherwise.
J. Jameson asked the right question, I believe. How many kills does Luke have after the Death Star?
He's a Jedi. He does things for the right reasons, though.
Uh-huh.
He redeemed his father, therefore he's a good guy. Okay, all right.
3 movies later.
Yeah, well, it takes time. It takes time to build up that Death Star and then blow it up. You can't just kill everyone before it gets built. That'll be a waste of time. Anyway.
to heroes having a personal code where they will not kill even the criminals or the villains they fight against. The narrative moral
just
stance of this
Batman.
position is that killing is what separates the villain and the hero. In fact, a lot of animations will either have the villain be deathless, no matter how bad the piss is beating out of them, or more frequently have the villain die by their own hubris or their plan backfiring. This allows our hero to maintain a position of the moral high ground by avoiding getting their own hands personally dirty with killing. And this roughly becomes the baseline of the vast majority of action-adventure fiction. Well, at least the action-adventure fiction aimed at kids. Adult-targeted action-adventure narratives have a bit of a different approach. They generally have a villain who wants to commit some world-shattering atrocity for selfish or personal reasons. Again, the villain's plan usually involves the death of a lot of people. In order to accomplish this plan most times, the villain often needs dozens of cronies and henchmen to handle the little stuff. The hero, however...
He does seem to like the flashy scenes from those shows that give me headaches.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's just showing popular stuff so far.
I know.
He's getting to the point where the villain is like, I'm doing this horrible thing for the greater good, or whatever, the thing that makes a villain a villain. It's like, okay, they are...
Therefore, it's necessary. I have my own justifications that totally justify this. Therefore, I have higher morals than you. You just can't understand it. You don't see what I see, etc.
Yeah.
In real life, we already see this not working out on the playground. Like, I don't mean killing. But when you have a bully and you're already kept from defending yourself against the bully, which is what lots of bad teachers do with the bullied, that basically ends up later in adult life as people not even knowing how to stand up against bad people. And when they then get discouraged by corrupt police for, oh, can't you just not file a record, please? Because that does happen. You're basically fucked. There's problems with not killing at all. It's a nice goal, it's a nice virtue, but ultimately,
it's not.
Well, it's very hard to put people down and put into prison, and then also hope that they stay in prison, and there's not a corrupt justice system, corrupt political drives behind that just put those most horrible people back in prison, because contrary to all those stories, we're not superheroes, we're not Batman, we can't just put the Joker back into Arkham Asylum. He'll just get back out, and if that happens with our villains of not box standard villains of the everyday, that's very discouraging, is the least. It can be soul crushing.
Mm-hmm. I would concur with that.
Yeah, I remember reading stories. I always bring up Scythe just because it's a little controversial with the third book, but it's a story about people who kill people. And that's how the society of Earth works, because there's so many people you need to, because everyone's immortal. We have technological immortality. So you need to thin the herd, at least according to the writer. And
you can just stop having children.
No, you can't, because that would go against being human. They want humans to remain as
always
humans.
Not dying. Not dying is against being human.
They figured out that that's no longer an issue. So
but if you destroy that issue, you have to also consider the other end of that.
This is
you have
one.
To become, and like this is us becoming. You're describing us becoming elves.
Okay,
and elves don't have a lot of children because they're immortal.
This is one of Neil Shusterman's lesser gory stories. Like he has a bunch of. He has the Unwinding series, which is like, holy shit, dude! You're going into so many organs, and it's unnecessary to get into discussion of that. But this is a whole society where the executioner is the moral arbiter of death, and they use all kinds of means to choose who to die in a quota. In order to be one of these arbiters called scythes, you have a quota you have to meet every quarter or whatever it is, and there's humane ways to do it. Some of the scythes are completely psychotic. They'll just randomly blow up a shopping mart. So there's all kinds of different ways to kill. But
that sounds much worse than just natural death of age.
Right. Some scythes do that. They have ways of killing in a very humane way. But this is the nature, like all the heroes in that story are killers. But that's the norm of the story. It's kind of like lightsabers or blasters in Star Wars. They're everywhere.
To me, that sounds like the excuse of a psychopath to justify killing a lot of people and describing it in very gory ways.
Well, that's what actually many of the villains in the story are a bit more violent than the heroes, but they all have killed hundreds, if not thousands of people. So it makes very little difference outside of them being a little bit kooky, like outside of killing. They're like, okay, now I'm going to swap bodies and I'm going to do this with the populace and I'm going to frame that person. Like they have all these conniving other evil things they're doing. But at the end of the day...
That whole setting sounds forced.
Yes, it was. Yes. That's the idea. And there's a conspiracy behind that. But either way, I'm just saying that is the setting. That is the norm. So making a hero out of that is like, okay, what's the virtue of being a killer who is a good killer or a proper killer, a humane killer? It's like, okay, now we have standards. Now we have a criteria for what makes
the kill of the... Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so this is how we would say, oh, well, out of all these hundreds of thousands or whatever these people have killed, here they are doing it in a proper, just way. Kind of like Kevorkian, I guess he kills people, or used to kill people in a very humane way, I don't know. So you have to have that attribute to the heroes. There's something redeemable about them in the method upon which they outside of just being the main character on a quest, right? It has to be something good you like about them.
But the action of the actual kill of the villain it's a cathartic moment that ends the story. Basically, you can have your epilogue and everything, but that's basically the where it builds up to. Because once that's done, whether it's out of revenge or justice or whatever else, that's the conclusion. With the death of the villain, the story is over.
It doesn't necessarily have to be the physical death, but yes, the destruction or end of their plot, whatever that is.
But his whole point is about the actual kill. He's not about the metaphorical.
Well, that's in the case of the not getting the hero's hands dirty, where the villain slips off the cliff and kills themselves, or whatever the case is. That's the same outcome, but you want your heroes to be the Disney hero who never slays the dragon, but defeats the dragon in some physical fight, and the dragon falls and whatever. So it's.
I mean, if you go that metaphysical about it, not metaphysical, fucking words, about I didn't actually kill the villain. I just opposed him so long until he killed himself.
Yeah.
You can also justify your opposition alone.
Right.
Drove the villain to death. It killed him.
I'm gonna
you basically bullied him passive-aggressively until he died.
I'm going to argue with you enough until you just give up with the arguments and you just walk away.
That's one of the possible boss fights in Planescape Torment. You can talk your way out of the final fight by convincing the villain to kill himself.
There's a few avenues for that. Yeah, it's great. I love it.
But here, even if it would happen by accident, if you hadn't opposed the villain wouldn't have gotten in the accident that killed him. So therefore, it is due to your actions, your agency, that the villain eventually died. You killed the villain.
All right, here's Gingaman.
If you want to go about this whole metaphorical nonsense.
Anyway, here's Gingaman for the tip. Thank you, sir. I wonder what this guy thinks of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, whose villains die because of him, not because Peter directly kills them. Yeah, that's one of the hallmarks of Spider-Man. He's not a violent guy outside of being near immortal because he can just dodge everything with his spider sense. He knows what's going to happen before it does. So,
unless he's the new guy, then he can't do anything.
Oh, really? He doesn't have spider sense? That sucks.
No, he has spider sense, but he's such a wimp that he can't use the spider sense because he overthinks everything all the time. I forgot what the actor's called. They even made a joke about that in what was that last movie, No Way Home? Where moment Doctor Strange had pushed his soul mind thing out of his body could do the spider sense thing and constantly dodge Doctor Strange's attempts to grab the thing. He can't do it while he's in his body because he's a fucking retard. It's the worst Spider-Man of all time.
Oh, well.
His body can do it, but he's too stupid to allow it to.
Reminds me of what was it? The Arthurian legend where I have Excalibur, I just don't know how to use it. And then remember reading or watching Freyren where the hero can't pull the sword out of the stone. He's like, I don't need that. I'm going to be a hero anyway. He's like, okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Anyway.
Is alone or accompanied by a small group of elites, usually their friends. And the most important part is that the hero and these elites will kill countless henchmen in order to stop the villain.
This is an army game.
This is a distinctly different moral calculus than the children's-based action-adventure. Here, with adult-oriented fiction,
I can assure you children play samurai warriors.
Yeah, but this is just moral relativism of the setting, not necessarily a killing. Yeah.
As well as the fact that in most RTS games, bad guys, you're basically just killing thousands of units.
Yeah, it's war.
And then respawning them.
Yeah.
I can assure you I played Command & Conquer when I was 8.
Yeah, I mean, war games or any war in general, we're talking about drama. when you have these stories like Schindler's List that involve all kinds of horrific scenes, like oh, this is war. We get it. We understand this scenario and this setting we're in. And it's kind of the same with romance. Kind of we say, was it Love and War, All's Fair? It's this universal, like, yeah, whatever you do to get the puck in the net, whether it's killing or you get her favorite flower or whatever the quest line is, it's like that is the goal that you got to hit to get to the next stage. So the audience goes, okay, we're in a war. How do you fight a war? Guns, bullets, knives, swords, cannonballs, whatever the technology is of the day. That's permissible. You're allowed to do that. Someone gets their head blown off. It's like, oh, that's kind of gory, but that's war. It's normal. So you expect that to happen in the story. Whether it's murder or not is up to you.
Is that because of their choices in life or the harm they could cause, deserve to die. Specifically, though, the heroes, in their search to protect the world, are killing people in self-defense, which is justified and
not necessarily. That's kind of that's not.
Don't try self-defense in certain US states or the United Kingdom or Canada or Germany in some instances.
Well, if you're fighting a war, that's not self-defense. You're actively fighting a war. You're not just standing around waiting for them to come at you. You should be passive. You should be waiting.
Well, just in terms of they're coming at you regardless of what you're going to do. So whatever you do in terms of when you go into the fight, other people are trying to kill you.
Right. And if the idea of self-defense is to equalize force, then yes, killing someone, like it's kind of like you're going into a battle and you're waiting for someone to run out of ammo so they can come up to you with a knife, and then you could you could use some sort of judo to plunge the knife into their own chest or something nonsensical like that. It's like, yeah, that's a big, long way of getting to that point to say it's self-defense, but it's war. You're fighting for your life. If you have preemptive attacks, if you have counterattacks, if you do any other thing related to fighting, that would be permissible. No one's going to say, like, why? Like, you imagine the Avengers going to a scene and they arrive in the city and all these demons are coming after the whatever, and they're just waiting to counterattack. They're just waiting to get hit. It's like, no, that's not what Thor would do. That's not what any of these guys would do. They would go to where the problem is and stop the problem. They wouldn't wait for the literal individual soldier to come up to them and start firing or whatever the case is.
Yeah, definitely. There would be a preemptive self-defense, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, it's a war. People understand it. You have to fight back. You can't just passively wait.
Permissible. Now, I'm not going to get into like the real world politics or morality of the situation because that would be a much longer video. But I will say that there is a certain amount of suspension of disbelief that comes with this messaging. When we engage with fiction where the good guys are ruthlessly mowing down dozens of men, we're not supposed to think of these victims as real people. In fact, we're not supposed to think of them deeply at all. And fictions know this.
If I must kill a man because he has done wrong, do I really wish to know that he is a devoted
Wait. Okay, this is getting very individualistic.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to say as well. This is back down to the individual issue, while Dynasty Warriors is nameless army. Army is something else. War is something else. From the personal duel, if you will.
Yeah, in the case
the
of
one-on-one fight, like in a martial arts movie, you have the one-on-one fights very often,
which is hopefully fought with honor and rules and tradition, and everyone agrees that this is what's going to happen. In the case of Samara, she's a free agent enacting her Asari code, I don't know what you want to call it exactly, her laws on the universe, saying, okay, there are some universal laws that the Asari believe in. I'm going to be the judge of that. And I'm not going to fight a war. I'm going to say, oh, this person was wronged. I'm going to help them find the person who caused that condition. So she will go after people and kill them because she has rights to do so. And the Asari are like, oh shit, this person. I mean, these are the people you don't fool around with. Like like a U.S. Marshal, for example. Those guys know the law very well, at least I hope they do. And once they are coming after you, they have very good reason to do so. So I don't know how we go from war is a bunch of people that serve a lord or a higher power that they're a part of, getting mowed down, and then an individual seeker of the law trying to right a wrong for like this thing that happened 200 years ago or whatever. It's a very different scenario. And the scale is way different than what we just discussed. So I don't know if this is the right clip for him to show.
Yeah. Also, never forget that even in war, killing does get to a soldier's psyche, which is why there are things like three people walking next to each other, three soldiers walking next to each other, and just firing straight ahead, so that they can all tell each other if someone gets hit, it might have been the other guy. That's been a standard thing.
All right, here's Chad Summer. That's an interesting name. Yes, you can kill the last boss with speech and Fallout and Planescape. Literal Black Isle trope. Mechanics to enable this is what matters. Yeah, you have to go through the games to acquire certain items and storylines to enable those features. That is true. It's always fun to play. It's always fun to go back to Planescape and not get the dagger or not get the symbol of torment and argue your way.
Don't open it.
Don't use it. Yeah.
Don't open the box.
That too.
Is calling us to do is envision these henchmen as literal personifications of bad morality and injustice. The heroes aren't fighting and killing people, they are waging war against the idea of evil itself. And the deaths of these henchmen represent the incremental...
Sorry, did he say adult-oriented fiction or adult-oriented fiction? I know maybe that's...
I think he misspelled it.
Yeah, I thought so.
Misspelled it.
Okay.
...vanquishing of the evil threat as a whole. This is why in so many kids-oriented fictions containing the villain henchman trope, the henchmen will actually be robots, or nameless monsters, or mindless creatures. This is so that they can be slaughtered by the hero without any concern for the value of their...
That's just modern censorship issue.
Saturday morning cartoon stuff, yeah.
Yeah, because in older cartoons, people were shot. That did happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like the G.I. Joe phenomenon where there's no real bullets, it's all laser guns, and the laser guns just sort of hurt you and they make you fall down.
Galaxy Rangers had actual people shot. Although some characters also were just robot things, people were also shot.
Yeah. It
was surprisingly grounded for an 80s cartoon animated in Japan.
Even the old spaghetti westerns from the 60s, black and white stuff, was very realistic in terms of getting shot, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, people died in those stories all the time.
Life. Now, obviously, there's a bit of a disconnect between the kid-centered heroes can never kill and the adult-oriented heroes can kill the right people. As both paradigms became cliches within their own rights, various subversions arose to play and make commentary on the tropes. On the adult side, some fictions started overtly pointing out the hypocrisy of the main character indiscriminately killing just to stop the villain from indiscriminately killing.
How many men have you killed? How many just today? That's it, boy. No compassion, no mercy. Die!
Other fictions simply leaned into the trope and made it a central figure of the hero character's identity.
That's what I hold in flag. Nothing like a bloodbath to start the day.
They call you peacemaker.
I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
On the kids' side, the subversions were just as diverse. Some fictions actively engage with the conversation about the necessity or lack thereof concerning killing.
And I've only had to use violence for necessary defense. And I've certainly never used it to take a life.
Still, many kids-oriented fictions attempted to have their cake and eat it too.
Well, he's a Buddhist, basically. So you have that special layer.
Was that part of the culture that he's a part of, or was that an influence of Buddhism?
Yes, the nomads are basically Buddhists.
All right.
By treating the henchmen as if they were just injured instead of murdered. But you tell me, do you think Mr. Incredible didn't murder these guys? Or this guy? Do you think Aang didn't kill all of these men by throwing them off of the mountain? This aspect of kids-based fiction was so prevalent that entire sketches were formed around it.
He's asleep.
No, wait, what?
Oh, I see what's happening. You guys don't know this. But
No, but it wasn't active killing. Yes, it's an avalanche. Yes, avalanches kill people. You also have a chance to survive an avalanche. So, Aang, he's skirting the line there.
Yeah.
When you fight me, it's exhausting because I'm good. So they often have to nap afterwards.
Wait, you can't be this. You think they're sleeping?
Look at that poor little guy. He's all tuckered out.
These were not the only ways that these tropes were subverted. In some cases, the hero killing even those who seemed immoral is meant to show that the hero themselves is being corrupted. In other fictions, the narrative will make no allusion about the idea that the hero is actually not that good. In these instances, the hero...
Anakin was never really a hero.
I would agree with that, but tell that to guys like Mr. Anomaly Inc.
It's a bit weird to have not your childhood, but your later childhood to be in this sanctuary of compassion and meditation, and then, oh, my mom got hurt, I'm going to go into a murderous rage. It's like, whoa.
Rip and tear, rip and tear.
It's a bit strange.
You could say it's the natural thing.
Oh, well, I don't know what they're teaching in Jedi school aside from how not to hurt yourself with a lightsaber, but you don't suddenly say, I have a lightsaber, I'm going to kill people I don't like now. It's like, what?
Well, there's also the horrible desert assholes who steal and work people to death. And yeah, then in the expanded law, as far as I know, they're the reason the planet is a desert in the first place. So, fuck them. Until Book of Boba Fett, everything we knew about the Sand People was their assholes.
Oh, well, let's not watch that ever again.
Was simply less bad than the villains, leaving the hero to kill anyone in his way without the narrative morally endorsing the idea that killing are justified. Then there are the fictions where the hero is just a literal weapon of justice, creating a scenario where the killings are fundamentally excusable. And finally, some fictions showcase the hero killing by showing that it's their last great resort, something not to be repeated and emotionally agonizing.
That was bad.
That was bad.
That was ass. That was awful.
Each of these subversions attempt to meet the established paradigm where it's at and create an in-universe acknowledgement of it. However, there have been modern twists to even these subversions, and they became most frequently used in superhero movies, where knocking out a henchman or a villain is seen as innocent, though juvenile. Killing a henchman came across as dark but mature.
What's with all the zoom-ins? He's been doing this the entire video. I was like, we get it, you're talking, and then we zoom into your face, and then we have a scene, and we zoom into your face, we have a scene. It's like, dude, we get it.
I think it's supposed to illustrate this is the more important point.
I don't get it. Why did he do that? Just don't do that. Just talk to us. There's no music. I'm happy that there's no music. He's just talking to us, but it's just the zoom. Here's a scene from Superman.
I think there's a very quiet piano in the background.
Sucker. Zoom, mother sucker, zoom.
Yeah, well.
But it's very inoffensive piano.
Oh, really?
That's something to take lessons from.
Okay.
Sure. Writers who understand this difference can successfully control the tone of their fiction or completely transform it. Think of how silly and kid-centric Marvel heroes used to often be presented.
Okay, but now all he's doing is the audience has the self-awareness or intelligence to go, wait a second, did he just kill 30,000 people? It's like, yeah, we should probably mention that in the narrative, and if you don't, then you have a shit story, because the audience is aware of things that the writer wasn't. So this has nothing to do specifically with tone. It's to do with, did that just happen? And maybe we should address that, because that's a big deal, like someone dying or someone, losing something, and then it comes back later on, like as if the writer forgot about that. So there's lots of stuff you can do in writing that sucks, that the audience goes, that doesn't line up. They just said they don't do that, and now they're doing it. Is that because they're a big liar, or is that because it's part of their character? They're actually, trying to get someone to figure them out. So they're doing things that making sure that the people they're talking to are listening to what they're saying. So their actions betray that. They go, oh, you just said you don't like the color purple. Why are you wearing purple? And it's like, oh, so we do have an intelligent character we're listening to and reading about, because the audience picks up on that, and it should pick up on that the same time the writer would if they read the same.
Why is his head so big?
It's Marvel.
Why is his head so big?
Don't worry, it's Marvel.
I think that's Uatu the Watcher.
His head is so big.
It's fine.
He looks like Dib from Invaders.
He's like a baby. He's fine. He's a big baby.
And as far as I'm aware, this comic is a comedy that didn't canonically happen because it's Squirrel Girl defeating Thanos, which is not really serious.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, because she's a comedy character. And it's before she turned to shit.
Oh.
Before Squirrel Girl was turned to shit.
Yeah.
To take any seriously simply because the comics didn't want you to. So when tasked with bringing those Marvel comic characters to the big screen to be played by real people and watched by real adults, what is the writer supposed to do? Well, you make the villains take the silly heroes seriously. And how do you do that? You have the hero kill them, mercilessly. The first Iron Man was the initial foray into what will become the gigantic Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it all started with presenting Iron Man in the...
what else would you do in that situation?
Agreed. Kill him.
We can also talk about Firefly.
Oh yeah, Firefly was awesome.
Bunch of heroes, they kill people. Because it's a fucking space western.
Yeah, again,
Buffy kills people all the time. Okay, they're vampires, but...
Yeah,
you wouldn't need to. There are vampires who are not as asshole-ish.
This is the nature of the setting. It requires people to be in violent scenarios. It's like, yeah, that's why you're reading these things. If Buffy didn't fight or didn't kill demons and vampires, would be like, what the hell, Buffy? You're the Slayer. You are the person chosen to go do that.
And that's why she never killed Spike.
Oh, God.
You don't like Spike?
No, it's just that you could tell the writers, at least from what I remember watching, didn't know what to do with Spike. Because you either...
It made no sense not to kill him for most of the time.
So they probably had a conversation with him, like, what are we going to do? And if he doesn't become a greater villain, then he's going to fall in love with her. And so it's like, oh, we're going to have conflict with romance instead of violence. It's like, oh, wow.
We have a love triangle.
Well, what a great idea. It's like, that's fan. It's like, this is the soppiest stuff that you could ever come across. I'm sure Masters was like, oh yeah, well, this is...
It is a soap comedy.
Yeah.
That's why it's so unbearable to watch.
Kind of expected, I guess, but you could just see that. Why isn't he still alive? Why is he still... Okay.
Man, in the grittiest fashion possible. Tony Stark would kill you. Just straight up, no negotiations, no remorse. He'll just murder you. And people really vibe.
No remorse?
Well, at that stage in his life.
This was a bad scene to show that, where he's held hostage in a cave, and when he tries to escape, people try to shoot him. Dude, that is war. That is the wrong time to be thinking about remorse. When somebody's shooting a gun at you, not just pointing it at you, but shooting it at you. Or when people are being threatened to be killed by several terrorists at the same time. Mm-hmm. What else how are you going to save them? Because here, this is a trolley problem. This is a fucking trolley problem. Do you pull the lever of killing the terrorist? Because if you don't kill the terrorist is going to kill the hostage, or you, or both. So do you pull the lever that kills the terrorist?
Yeah. Pretty much just kill the terrorist.
If you don't pull the lever, innocent people die, including you.
I'm curious, is he trying to get through the logic of this, the mechanics of it, or like the drama value of it? Because it's like, we get it, we understand the scenario, but what does it have to do with liking heroes that do that? That's just the setting. That's just the predicament they're in. I'm not sure.
I would say that it allows us to take the heroes seriously, and we don't complain. Why didn't they kill them, or why is the hero being stupid?
It just makes it more realistic.
But the opposite,
only hero that you can seriously believe can just put everyone in a rope and put them in a corner is Superman.
Well, the thing with Superman, we saw the clip of Superman killing Zod, and everyone's like, "Why did you do that? You didn't have to do that." And you think, "Oh, he got emotional, he got excited." It's like, yeah, but he was in control of his head. If he could snap his neck, therefore he can direct how his head is facing the people. And thus, and plus Zod was like teasing him because all you had to do was look to the right. It took no energy, and boom, those people are dead. So it's like, this is kind of stupid. This scenario is dumb, and you're playing it for drama. And it's, oh my God, this is so silly. It makes Superman look like a child. Like, oh, jeez.
Yeah,
So,
it made him look incompetent.
Incompetent, yeah.
It was such a terrible scenario because Zack Snyder's a moron. Like, he's a stupid writer. He's proven that definitively. The only good movies he's ever made is 300, where he just kind of leans into the fact that it's a cartoon and doesn't even have any pretensions about it. As soon as he gets pretentious about it...
And he had a script to follow.
Oh, yeah, it was a comic.
Yeah, true.
He was basically just making the visuals on screen.
Yeah.
The other thing with the whole Zod fight is there's so many people died in the background, and that were deleted out on screen. You can follow them on screen, and they're deleted out just before something flies towards them or explodes. Superman would have saved them, or at least moved the fight, like everything that Dragon Ball does. Oh, there's a big fight going on. Let's move it somewhere where none of the people here die. And the villains usually more or less agree because, well, if I beat you, I'm going to destroy everything anyway.
All right, here's Chad Summer one more time. Thank you, sir. Spike is literally the best character. Apologize. I mean, that's relative to what you think Buffy is.
That's directed at me. Yes, Spike is the best character. Absolutely no question. The problem is, in the world, it repeatedly makes no sense not to kill him. He has no soul until the very, 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 very end. It's just bullshit. That the problem with Buffy and Angel is that the internal rules of the world are not consistent, and they don't add up. It's just bonkers.
It's kind of like saying Xena is the best character in her story. It's like, I guess, I mean, what compared to what? Like,
no, you're wrong.
What's your standard?
Xena's not the best character. It's Ares.
Oh God, I hated him. What are you talking about?
Everybody loved in Xena and Hercules. Everybody loved Ares. He was the show favorite of the audience.
He was over the top, annoying,
when the actor tragically
childish.
died in an accident on set. Yes, he's charismatic. But when the actor tragically had an accident on set and died, the show started tanking. The replacement actor just couldn't hold up.
Yeah, well. It's a weird thing. Like, you're talking about a show which is designed for, I guess, older kids. Same with Buffy, young girls. You know, if you like that stuff, great. I don't know. I can't really gauge all these characters. I don't remember them very well because they don't have much to them.
I think older kids is the right choice of words.
I think so. I'm not saying it's a shit show for older kids because I watched some of these when I was growing up too. So I was like, all right. But as a character, where do you go with him? Because there's no plan for Spike until they went, oh, we got to do something with him. To me, that's not a well-written character. That's like, he's not dead yet. We haven't written him out of this story yet. Therefore, he's still around. Let's make him human. Like, oh, wow, that's great.
Joss Whedon's mistake with that show and with Angel subsequently was that he didn't go full World of Darkness. Because he had all the layers there.
Oh, and that would be too complicated.
In at least the episode where Buffy's mom died, which was played completely serious. It was a complete break with there are 3 episodes of Buffy that I actually like. And that is one of them.
Not the
and
musical?
That thing is played straight. The musical is the second good one.
Oh, really?
The third good one is the silent one. And so the one where Buffy's mom dies. Yeah.
No acting.
That's great. They actually have to act
physically. No doubt.
Yeah, and it creates a much better atmosphere. Just the ending is shit, but the episode where Buffy's mom dies, it's played straight. It's played serious and grounded, and the scene with the vampire in the morgue, it's finally actual. Like, it has this little horror spark finally, where the standard vampire that Buffy kills without looking at them, like any Power Rangers show, it actually becomes dangerous again. It becomes a threat. The whole episode works, and it gives that vibe that World of Darkness would have given you.
Well, if they wanted to go the whole conspiracy, vampires in the background, controlling society, which they do with other characters and other forces, it had to be really fleshed out. That would be a focus of at least an entire season of conflict, of just like, what's the overall arching plot. That would take a actual forethought by the writer to plan that out. And I can't see a story or seasons of a show like Buffy or Xena or any of those action adventure things for kids being that complicated or detailed.
Honestly, like something like Legend of the Seeker is probably one of the better aspects, even though that show's not very good. It's at least better than the books that it's based on, because the books are really awful.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, the books are like I would say the show is like it's a 5 or 6. Books are 2 out of 10. They are awful. They are extremely formulaic and have a Deus Ex Machina ending for every single one of them. And then the fallout from the Deus Ex Machina goes into the next book, and then it just keeps going and going and going repetitively.
That is such sad writing.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I wouldn't call it. Yeah, I just wanted to say I wouldn't call it outright bad. I would just call it sad beginner stuff. It's what you do when you're 1 digit old.
Well,
he's also a massive plagiarist, where he'll just wholesale steal ideas. Like, there's this Gollum character who's obsessed with the Sword of Truth, and his name is Samuel.
Oh,
and it's like, and he stole a lot of ideas from Wheel of Time, like the Sisters of the Dark and the Sisters of the Light. Like that's just straight up. And also, the Keeper of the Underworld is basically the Dark One. Emily, he gets beaten in book 2, and never really comes back.
Look, but that's because Jordan already leaned that from very basic ideas that were warped from Taoism and Gnosticism. So that's then just further taken with even less research. Because the one thing I truly have beef with Robert Jordan is that he could not get yin and yang right. Probably deliberately, because he wanted the white thing to be the woman thing. The flame is the flame of Tavalon. That's the white part of the yin and yang is actually the male half. The black is the female.
That makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, especially if you read why.
I thought we were going to talk about was it Terry Goodkind, not Robert?
Oh, Terry Goodkind. Yeah, I hate him. I hate Terry Goodkind. He's also an ass.
What did he
Terry
write?
Goodkind is a Sword of Truth.
Yeah.
He's a complete ass when you listen to his commentaries on fantasy fiction. He is a massive asshole.
Well, I don't know.
Is he just an asshole, or is he also a hack? Because you can be an asshole and be correct.
He's both. He's both a hack and like he's also
a hack hole.
Yeah, he's also an Ayn Rand fan. Like like this is to give you an idea of this man's intelligence / credibility. He was asked who is the most top of the line cutting edge author writing today, and he said Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand has been dead for 10 years.
What author? What kind of author?
Ayn Rand.
Ayn Rand.
No. I meant the adjective. I didn't hear that. That was cut off on my end.
Like most important / cutting edge edge writer writing today.
Oh, writing today, cutting edge writing today.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh dear.
This dead person. Is it what?
I can't really. The thing is, I can't fault Americans much for leading to Ayn Rand when all the other economy they hear of is socialism. Then Ayn Rand does make more sense. But people should maybe read Hayek and Sowell.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
the problem. The thing is, they didn't put the economy ideas into stories.
Oh, that's interesting. If Sowell actually wrote a fictional story about an empire falling because of their economic system, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
That's what Robert Heinlein did with Starship Troopers. He put his philosophy in there so that people would actually read it. You could, in a way, say the same thing about Frank Herbert with Dune, because that is the compendium of his philosophy and views on the world, politics, and history, and psychology. It's people sort of attacked Heinlein for his pro, not jingoism, but sort of this pro-war outlook. But when you're talking about alien invasion, you're like, well, what are you going to do? Like, either gather together to fight or you're going to die. So. The people criticizing Heinlein that way, they usually have ideas about world domination of themselves.
Maybe. I don't know.
Take that always with a grain of salt and actually read the book yourself. It's not even that long. If you can read the fucking Communist Manifesto, you can read Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about Heinlein is that he was basically all about pushing an idea to an extreme. He wasn't like totally pro any of the ideas that he was espousing. He was just exploring them as a thought experiment.
Yeah, but that is what philosophy and science fiction, the actual philosophy and science fiction, does. Yeah. That is why you get good writing out of that. And that is why Stanislav Lem is such a wonderful science fiction author that everybody should read, especially the Star Diaries.
And that's why everyone should read Alfred Bester's The Demolished Man. I think that's probably not my favorite, but the best science fiction story to read if you want to read science fiction. So anyway, we can ramble on about our favorite authors later, but yeah, that's a weird. We've gotten to that aside about a really shitty fantasy TV show that no one should watch.
Okay,
Jay
Jameson.
I would recommend you watch Legend Seeker. I love Legend Seeker.
You like it?
I still love it.
Oh god,
I like that. I like that show. It's kind of dumb, but it's really entertaining.
It's probably not as bad as the Terry Brooks adaptation. So,
oh god.
Oh yeah, Sword of Shannara. That one's awful.
That's so bad.
I was lent the first 3 books by someone years ago. I don't think I can even give them back anymore. I tried to read the first one, and it was atrocious.
What, the Terry Brooks?
Terry Brooks. How was that ever written?
Well, some
How
of
was
his
that ever
books are
in a printer?
There's books that are just not very interesting, like the Elfstones.
It's a very in-your-face and then garbage story.
But there's sometimes he'll get like the right characters at the right moment. They'll make a book out of it. I was like, oh, this is actually decent, and I'm enjoying it because he has all these.
If you can't get me past 30 pages, fuck off.
Yeah, don't worry about that. don't stress yourself.
I'm giving people more leeway. When some people say, oh, if the first episode of something or the first 2 or 3 episodes of something don't catch me, then it's shit. I understand that, and I'm one of these idiots who gives it a little more chance because sometimes things have a rocky start. Right. But it's rare. It's rare that it comes.
Here's a good leeway to suggestion I'll have people watch. From Chad Summer, never had any World of Darkness vibes from Buffy. If you want to watch an actual show that was based around that, watch Kindred. It's a great little.
They're trying. The sad thing about that is that they had so little budget they couldn't even film at night. So everything's filmed in plain daylight, and they just put the brightness down and it looks like ass.
For what they did, I was so impressed. And
yeah,
the makeup was pretty decent, and the stories were pretty good. The characters were great. I love the characters.
Yeah.
The old Nosferatu queen or mother or whatever, she was great. I love those characters so much.
Why I brought up A World of Darkness with Buffy and Angel is that it seems to lean a few ideas from it, but then forgets them instantly again. Just for, here's a cool scene, here's a cool thing. And it makes absolutely no sense. Because what pisses me off about that world is that humans at random, and it's like 50-50, it's a coin flip. It's like 50% of the population do not know about the supernatural and don't believe it and are super shocked when they actually see it. And the other 50% of the human population, it's just everyday shit. And the worst offender in that is when in Angel, in LA, there's this casino run by demons, and apparently everybody knows about it. They're not even trying to play a masquerade.
Oh, no.
That world should have some sort of masquerade going on if there's so much demon shit going on.
That reminded me of an earlier show that was based in Toronto. Actually, it was shot in Toronto, I thought. It was called Forever Night. And it's about a 800-year-old vampire who has he's a painter, but he paints with blood. So he's a very eccentric detective. It's like, okay, whatever. So they have all these silly things to explain away what he does, what he can do. So it's one of those weird shows that was made in the 90s that okay, this could work. This is not horrible. It's not too goofy, but it's such a low budget that you're like, they got to play it straight. There's no other way they could get away with this stuff. Same with was it Kwai Chang Caine from Kung Fu? He comes back 30 years later. His son is exactly the same. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's great.
Some people in the chat say that they're not that patient with books. I can tell you, I forced myself past the first page of Shadiversity's book. I forced myself to read the first page. I forced myself to keep reading after the first 3 words, the first line, the first paragraph. Oh my God.
Painful.
This
painful.
How I cannot believe that his comments got 300 upvotes of when somebody wrote, yeah, I got your book. It's so amazing. It's so great. And then there's 350 upvotes on it. Those have to be sock puppets. I don't think you can find 350 people in the world that read that and think it's good.
There's a free website that checks Amazon comments to see if they're true or not, made by a bot.
Oh. Interesting.
Yep. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Here's one more from Chad Summer, and we'll get on with the video. The Cyberiad is the best sci-fi book ever written. Cyberiad? What is that?
Okay. Never heard of it. I'll put it on the list.
Don't know what that is.
Jay Jameson had one question. Could I have the spelling for those? Probably the authors.
Oh, guess the author. Your favorite.
Guess the author.
Guess. It's Stanislav Lem.
Okay.
Anyway. I'm sure Whisp will have a good time with that one. Let's keep going.
With something that they knew so well in one way being represented well in another. The childish takes on a whole new reality when converted into the serious. That is why people lose their mind over Darth Jar Jar to the point of making really epic fan art.
You would have made more sense.
But back to Marvel characters, the movies used heroes killing as a method to portray how serious and realistic this new iteration of the characters were. Captain America has a kill count in the hundreds. The opening scene in Endgame is the heroes proudly decapitating the villain after lopping off his limb. And again, this worked.
They should not have decapitated Thanos in that state. This is dude, that's the most anti-heroic thing you could do. He does not have power anymore. You can lock him in a cell to rot. You will probably be happy because he did the thing he wanted to do. The whole thing doesn't make sense if you ask me. He destroyed the fucking stones to accomplish what? I hate that movie. It's so bad.
I still haven't watched it. I'm never going to.
Be glad. It's so bad.
that came off circus performers flipping in spandex tights became armored assassins that you wouldn't dare cross. It felt cool for the people we rooted for to be the scary, effective ones. But like how all cycles work, this too became the norm in Marvel movie after Marvel movie, leading to its eventual subversion as well. Heroic killings and the ethics thereof became the centerpiece of Civil War.
You think you fight for us? You just fight for yourself. Who's going to avenge my son, Stark? He's dead, and I blame you.
It was simultaneously a subversive step
scene.
forward for the franchise and a revisitation of the classic action-adventure moral questioning of where does the line between hero...
Yeah, you're gonna complain about all the dead American soldiers that died fighting the Nazis because the Nazis were after the Nazis were beaten? How dare you send our boys to beat the Nazis? What are you talking about? This man fought to save the fucking universe. This is so narcissistic.
Whatever form that takes, I'm game. If we can't accept limitations, we're boundaryless. We're no better than the bad guys.
This investigation of the morals of killing have become a centerpiece of many of Marvel's biggest and best films. Spider-Man No Way Home saw Peter wrestle with whether or not he should murder Green Goblin. Guardians 3 centered itself on the value of animal lives and what life even intrinsically is.
Was dumb.
Still, throughout the 80s, 90s, and 2000s and beyond, all these different narratives wish to create a distinction between villainy and heroism. The simplest distinction was one side kills, the other doesn't. But
I think that's a very gross generalization.
The thing is, if you want to phrase it that way, one side kills just like a lawnmower to get what it wants by any means necessary. Let's just call it that. While the other side only kills when necessary.
Yeah, I'd say so. Even my favorite movie, Princess Bride, Wesley kills here and there in clever ways. But
actually, not really. The only person who kills anybody is Inigo Montoya.
Well, no, Wesley kills the Sicilian with poison.
Yeah, but he's the only person that Wesley ever kills, and technically the Sicilian killed himself.
I would phrase it this way. I would put the dichotomy this way. For the good guys, the base philosophy is the path is the goal. In war, that can necessitate killing. That is, by the way, also permissible in Buddhism. The second is, you still will get bad karma for it, but it would get worse by not stopping the villain. The second and the other side is achieve goal by any means necessary, the path is in the way. The path is in the way to get to the goal, because the evil wants the goal realized immediately. It's thinking short time preference, while good takes into accepts that, okay, we may take a bit longer, but at least we don't become villains ourselves.
Well, this is sounding more like a video from Red, where she makes these big generalized statements, or she says she knows what she's talking about without giving us references to specific stories of the character doing a certain thing that she's referring to.
I think he's grasping in the air.
It's not a good way to... I don't like generalizing, heroes are the good guys who don't kill. It's like... I
mean, that's fine if you're talking about a Saturday morning cartoon,
From the 80s, yeah.
That's why I rather add the adjective unnecessarily. Unnecessary. That heroes don't kill unnecessary.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. Dunn, have you ever enjoyed... the title is We Love Writing Heroes That Kill. Have you enjoyed writing a protagonist of yours that just is really good at killing, or that's his thing? Is there a thing that you go, yeah, I enjoyed writing that. That was good.
Let me think. I know that it was interesting kind of writing a character who was very much an ends justify the means character as a protagonist, where he's like, I don't care if you threaten my family, I am going to murder everyone. Very much kind of a less psychopathic version of Tywin Lannister, I suppose you could call him.
Right. But not like Anakin Skywalker. I feel like murdering now because my mom's gone and my vision told me to go do that. Okay. Well,
that's still some doing it for the family, protecting the family. That's still a justifiable logic.
Yeah, where kind of basically what he does is he finds out about this conspiracy to unseat him, kill his brothers, and kill his family, and he's like, since he's been crippled recently in the war that just happened, and so he's just like, no, let's just get them all in a room, make them think they're going to be betting on this castle, and then murder them all in this one fell swoop along with their army.
Yeah. Machiavellian. Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think when he says we love writing heroes that kill, I don't know who he means with who these authors are that he talks about.
I'm guessing it's him.
The title is already confusing because he's mainly talking about the audience now, it seems. And the thing is, when he's the way the title goes, it sounds like we love vengeful heroes.
Maybe.
And vengefulness is not the same as justice.
Yeah, we have to get the right content for what he's referring to. Like, you could say comic books, you could say comic book movies, but you wouldn't say murder mysteries. You never have this rush of excitement of, oh wow, the villain is like a reverse murder mystery, like a Columbo story where you watch the first 5 minutes, it's like, oh wow, the murderer is killing someone, that's awesome. It's like, no, we don't like that. We're kind of like, oh my god, and then we wait for Columbo to figure it out. So I can't think of any specific genre that I enjoy where I really enjoyed the hero killing outside of like maybe Sin City or, you know, some really dark, twisted story where they're in this dark world where it's like, yeah, the villain should get his comeuppance. This is the way, like the way that Bruce Willis killed that guy in Sin City was like, holy shit. But that is what you're like, yeah, that you had it coming. So
yeah, like if they're a character that very much deserves it.
Right.
Yep.
So this is like the plot of the goal of the story being, we have to stop the bad guy because he's so bad. Killing would be the best solution. It's like, yes, you're right. That would be the best scenario if this story continues. So we would feel really bad if that didn't happen, or we'd feel even stupider if he like lost in a comedic fashion, or he was, you know, they turn it into a comedy where it's like, oh, he's in prison, but he gets electrocuted every time he touches the bar. It's like, oh, it's so like, no, we want like dramatic.
That's just sadistic nonsense.
Yeah, we want the real deal. We don't want to make a joke out of it. So I don't know exactly where he's going.
I think the example he should have brought is the Punisher.
Maybe.
Exactly.
Maybe, yeah, that's a good one.
But then that is an exceptional case, because that again is a lot about vengefulness.
A lot of violence. Yeah, the whole setting is dark.
It's justice that moves into vengefulness.
Like I wouldn't see like someone from the Star Trek universe, like someone from Starfleet would start murdering all the Cardassians in the room or something. It's like, whoa, what the heck just happened? So
such forces have been festering in the Federation.
Yeah, I know. It's just the nature of the story. Unless it was like a DS9 episode, then you'd be like, all right, fair enough. They're fighting the Dominion and other groups.
Have you forgotten in the first season of TNG where that corrupt Starfleet admiral face exploded?
Oh God, yeah, that was funny. That was gross and funny. I was just like, oh my God. See the phaser?
This is Star Trek, and we all and people thought this is Star Trek now.
Yeah, I know. The phaser like walks across the room, like when he fires, like, it's like
yes, skeleton body horror shit. Hey,
yeah.
And it never happened again.
That was great. Yeah. Anyway,
let's gross out the producers.
Plex, it transformed into villains enjoy pushed to kill. This has been the #1 way that writers have kept their heroic protagonists likable and relatable. The heroes are meant to stay in the position where they don't want to kill, but
Attack on
gives
Titan.
them no choice.
Who cares?
As soon as a character starts
Final
seeking
season.
to kill outside
Which final season? which final season? Final season 1, final season 2.
Yeah, don't read it, don't watch it. You'll be happier.
How many are there? Are there 5 final seasons?
I don't care. I really don't.
A lot. A lot, I imagine.
What is they are perceived as a villain, and we stop rooting for them.
壁の巨人はこの島の外にあるすべての地表を踏み鳴らす。そこにある命をこの世から駆逐する。
But there is an exception, one that interacts with every.
What did he brought Aaron's nihilistic bullshit up for again?
I don't,
lost the plot.
I don't know. It's so long since I've ever read that. I don't care. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but in what context?
I don't know. It's a thing. You just brought it up, and I'm like, that's a spoiler?
Yeah, there was no context to that.
What? Why bring up a spoiler when it's not even clear why you bring it up? Is Aaron a hero here? He's a nihilistic monster.
I don't even watch that, so I had no idea if that was the villain or the hero.
It makes no sense. Attack on Titan makes no fucking sense. The writer is a hack. He's an idiot. He didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
He made the plot up as he went and then brought time travel shit in that makes no sense.
Oh my god, just stop, stop. Nope, we're not bringing anything up more.
God,
no.
There's time travel in that anime?
Stop.
Yes!
Wow.
Anyway.
Ruling guidelines previously, but somehow in its own unique way. Michael Bay's Optimus Prime. This is another one of those kids-oriented characters that, for a long time,
screw those movies
unserious and silly. Transformers is literally just based off of toys, and the cartoons with Optimus Prime were just thwarting hapless Decepticon plots and overall protecting Earth. Nobody really died or even got that hurt. The shows weren't really meant to be about violence and war. It was meant to be more of a simple moral introduction for young kids. Optimus was the paragon of virtue, all good, all the time, a leader and a man you could count on, a true hero. Megatron was the unrepentant villain, evil, self-centered, and conniving. But Michael Bay, understanding that if he wanted to make a Hollywood blockbuster-level movie, couldn't appeal to that traditional, simple Transformers presentation. Don't get me wrong, he needed Transformers to still appeal to kids, but also be
What? No?
I firmly disagree.
I agree with you in disagreement with him.
Yeah, I'm like, no. Like, those movies are awful, and they fundamentally assassinated Optimus Prime's character.
They
just
get
as bad as
progressively
Luke
worse
Skywalker.
too.
These movies are seriously badly written. They make no internal sense. They have no internal logic. They have no logic between them. Is this the thing where they teleport Cybertron above Earth?
Yeah,
that movie has two
so
halves. That movie has two halves, and so there's in the cinema there was then the happy break in between, and the first half and the second half have almost nothing to do with each other. They're separate movies that contradict each other. Yeah, it's not a twist stuff. It's just it makes no sense.
I always hated it in the Transformers movies when you would have characters show up in the next movie that weren't in the previous one. It's like, wait, who are you? When did you get here?
But also,
and you're and they act like you're supposed to know them too.
Also, the timeline is really bad. Like, if you look at the timeline of when the Transformers show up, and all of the and then you see like them walk it back. Oh, there were Transformers that spurred the moon landing. There were Transformers that came to ancient Egypt and then killed Nazis in World War II, and then also were in the time of King Arthur, and during the American Revolution there are pictures of them assisting George Washington.
Yeah, we were always here, but somehow nobody ever noticed.
And yet, when you go back to the first movie, and when you go back to the first movie, it's like Optimus Prime is like, "We just got here." It's like, no. Don't even pull that.
You're not even tourists at this point.
All right, so we agree. The series sucks. All right.
Yep.
Oh yeah, this is one of the worst movies. It's honestly a toss-up. Which is worse, the sequels or these movies?
But also be realistic and serious enough to attract older teens and adults. And remember how we said to do that? It's killing. And Transformers had a built-in safety net for its heroes to kill while maintaining a kid-friendly atmosphere. We previously went over how many
Kid-friendly.
fictions want to show the heroes killing henchmen
You can't
without
even
actually
see what's
paying a
happening
moral
on the
cost,
screen.
so they have them kill robots. Star Wars might be the most famous example for this, but Samurai Jack does it as well, along with a bunch of other action-adventure narratives. Killing a robot doesn't mean anything to an audience, so the heroes can slice them down with impunity. So thinking about that, Transformers is all robots. Michael Bay basically...
Hey, when Legion died, I cried. No,
different character?
Mass Effect, Legion.
Yeah,
yeah,
different
but
series.
it's a robot.
Sure.
There are robots I care about. They're cool. I don't want them to shut down.
All right, fair enough.
Plus, you don't have to show blood.
Have you no empathy?
The problem with Legion was his logic made no sense. Like, oh, I can't copy my software. It's like your software. You're literal software. You can't. You cannot copy. What happened? Like what?
I can't find a hard drive that's big enough.
Yeah, he literally has backups in like 1,000 different places throughout the galaxy. Oh no, we can't bring him back. He's gone. Like what?
Smud, he couldn't connect to the cloud, okay?
The cloud's out there somewhere. We just don't know where.
Yeah, he hasn't synced up yet.
Yeah, we're waiting for this sync up after all these years.
It's like it was still touching, but then that kicks in and you wonder, wait, so the Office came up with this character and then they realized, man, we want this emotional moment where you lose him, but it's actually not possible. So how would we just don't mention it anymore?
It would have been brilliant if like 2 seconds later that one of the primes just comes up. Hello, Commander, Shipper Commander. It's like, what? You're back. I don't remember the past 20 seconds because I was a different copy. It's like, oh, that's cool. And you're like, oh, well, you sacrificed yourself. Oh, we are aware of that. Like, oh, thank you. Like, that would have been fine. Lore.
Oh, I did that.
Relevant. It's like, yeah. Like, oh, I'm a hero. Yes, you are. Like, okay. That would have been totally fine. Then we had Legion in the freaking Citadel DLC, and everyone would have been even more happy.
Yeah, because basically you're just hitting your head. And then there would be no actual decision between him and Tali. Because okay, Tali. Legion, see you in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Sacrifice Legion because he'll be back in about 20 seconds. Oh boy. Anyway.
He basically had a get-out-of-jail-free card with his violence. Optimus, in his quest to save Earth, could viciously murder the Decepticons and keep fan favoritism. Even still, though, the first movie was pretty restrained.
But they can be killed.
Optimus only has one on-screen kill, and the big bad Megatron is actually taken out by Sam, the human, via a cube-induced heart attack. The heroes kill, yes, but in a very minimal, restrained way. However, things start to change over the course of the series. Optimus began to get more and more brutal with his kills.
Punk-ass Decepticon. Any last words?
This is not your planet to rule. The fallen shall rise again.
Not today.
I'm talking about ripping a Decepticon's face in half and then insulting his corpse.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
In fact, Optimus Prime seems
it's
to
as
have
if it's
a thing
not
for
real
faces.
Transformers.
Give me your face.
Still, these kills were against
pathetic.
That was I wasn't even sure what was going on.
yeah, that's a big problem I have with these movies. I can't tell what's on the screen. I can't tell what's happening. There's so many moving parts, so many small moving parts. I have no idea where one robot begins, the other ends, and what is actually moving. It's just a cloud of metal dust.
And from what I remember from the second movie, the one he just showed on screen, in all fairness, Optimus was killed by the main villain like earlier in the movie. So, I think he's kind of justified like driving his fist through the guy's chest. My opinion, but whatever.
Well, he at that point he has realized that you cannot reason with these enemies.
No.
Giving them a chance only means that they will exploit it. That's also the reason why in the cartoon, at the very end, he finally does shoot Megatron. After 20,000 chances.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We got 4 minutes left. I mean, he's doing... I don't know if this is a good job or an okay job or...
This video doesn't really bring anything home.
He's not.
I mean, we're
wrong.
not. Yeah, I mean, we're not sitting here saying like, no, you're stupid or no, you're dumb for saying that.
It's like he's.
So I guess okay job maybe.
Yeah, it's like
he's all over the place without nailing anything.
He's sort of like trying this angle, trying this movie. It's like, yeah, but what are you talking about? What are you getting at here? Heroes need to kill. It's like, no, they don't. Anyway.
Villain act of self-defense for himself and Earth. But little by little, Optimus started to get even more hardcore.
We will kill them all.
Paradoxically, this only made people like Optimus more, though. He was the guy that was just as ruthless as the villains, just on our side. We enjoyed seeing a hero who would hurt people just as bad as they wanted to hurt us. The robot enemy trope allowed Michael Bay to push Optimus's horrific killings to their absolute limit. Optimus Prime started enacting Mortal Kombat-style fatalities on his enemies. Megatron's corpse spewed red oil, which is 100% supposed to be a stand-in for blood and gore. If Optimus were a human doing these things to other humans, we would think he's a monster. He honestly seems to relish the idea of killing Decepticons, and not just because of a protector mindset, but because he has a deep-seated hatred for them. But because it's all robots, we couldn't care less. In fact, we cheer. Look at him just executing a defenseless villain begging for his life.
Oh, this is right. Oh, I like the guy who turns into a tank.
Was that?
Keep forgetting his name.
Was that background music I heard? I heard something in the background. I was like, did he play that, or is it?
There was background music all the time, and Chad was right. It was the Gerudo soundtrack from Ocarina of Time, just very, very, very quietly. And I think that kind of works because it is so quiet. It doesn't intrude on your listening, on your thoughts, but it isn't. But the absence would make it stale. I think it's okay. And here he's going to. I don't know if Red Letter Media had background music here. I think they didn't.
Okay.
Just murder. No, Optimus!
Optimus is written and portrayed as one of those just.
That was not Red Letter Media liking it. That was them making fun of it because it is so ridiculously stupid and dumb and, well, counter lore. Don't know if they care about the lore of Transformers.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive.
Yeah. Did he bring this? I'm sorry, it's late. Did he bring the Red Letter Media example up as people liking this?
Probably.
Because Red Letter Media did not like this.
No. They thought it was terrible.
Uh-huh.
I think he's working with the lowest common denominator. Like, this is a hero. He does heroic things, and he gets more violent, and we like him for it. It's like, I guess if that's all there is to get from that movie is a violent hero who gets more violent.
Yeah, this was Rich Evans.
I'm still stuck on him saying, "Look at him kill this defenseless villain."
Red Letter Media, they love watching B movies. These Transformers movies are, from the writing quality, essentially B movies. They just have insane budgets. But I'd say they're actually B movies.
I don't even know.
By every other metric, by everything that makes a B movie outside of the budget, which many people will say is the main thingy, but everything is so low quality, except for how much they poured into the special effects.
Yeah,
it's a B movie. You wouldn't watch this seriously ever.
All right,
and that's why they laugh.
Almost 17 minutes. We got almost 2 minutes and a half left to go.
Incarnate characters I talked about. An incorruptible, pure soul meant to dish out righteous absolution to evildoers. Optimus Prime, on a thematic level, is not meant to be viewed as a flawed or relatable character. He's not a human, like Batman, that must struggle with their convictions. He is an unwavering, steadfast machine. He is meant to depict the physical embodiment of virtuous anger and vengeance, meaning that whoever and however he kills is justified.
Okay, well, again, he brought up that weird example of Samara, who does also have to kill her daughter and a bunch of other people in the story for all kinds of reasons. You understand her plight, you understand her plot, what she's going through. there's lots of times to reflect. She's very chill. Like she's doing it for 1,000 years. This is her life from her personal tragedy. So it's like, oh, everything. Like we get Batman. We understand why Batman is Batman. It's like, okay, he could kill, but that would go against his ethos. So what exactly is he trying to say about, let's say, Batman? If Batman would kill, therefore he'd be a more likable character, or the author would like writing a Batman that would kill? I don't know.
I would also disagree with him that Optimus is not relatable. He's the responsible leader. If you can't relate to a responsible leader, then you're not even looking up to a responsible leader.
Oh, it's like the story of the immigrant bringing their problems with them to wherever they go, and he comes with a bunch of villains, and therefore they have to continue their war wherever they go. It's kind of like, okay, fine, but what does that have to do with Optimus not wanting to kill or becoming more violent?
Then we learn that the Transformers have always been here, so it's not Optimus bringing the war. It was always here.
It wasn't his fault.
He's just a product of circumstance. That's Optimus Prime.
Socio-cultural factors.
And this solidified when he moves past killing robots. He obliterates human henchmen and the villain without a second thought or any moral repudiation.
Yeah, because that's not Optimus.
Well, there are no good aliens or bad aliens, Jaeger. It's just us and them. And you chose them.
He's both a guardian angel and an angel of death, and he will...
How did that shot not turn him into a cloud of red
that should have
mist?
killed Mark Wahlberg as well, too. Given how close they were.
Yeah, since that was not a shot through him that would have turned him into a cloud of red mist. That was a shot at the ground in front of him that sent him flying. So he flew away due to the shockwave, which makes you correct. Mark Wahlberg should have also gone flying.
Oh yeah,
this is
or should have been a pink mist.
It's basically a giant punch through your entire body, flying you through the air. That would have broken a few bones at least.
A lot of bones.
Yeah, and this is why this is still just Saturday morning cartoon bullshit. Just it pretends to be more.
Well, I think I would have preferred a live action version of that. I think that would have been pretty fun. But this is, it's a war. We're fighting for this or that. Like, okay.
Pretty sure you could make a series Transformers movie, but you couldn't make it with these people.
Oh.
Yeah, another problem is just Mark Wahlberg's not very good in these movies.
No.
He makes you miss Shia LaBeouf.
Oh God.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, actually, yeah, never mind. I take that back. Shia LaBeouf was way worse than Marky Mark. Yeah, now that I think about it, Shia LaBeouf was way worse.
I mean, Shia LaBeouf was fine in the first movie, but after that,
he becomes so awful.
I had to watch the first movie on double speed, and all his scenes were so fucking slow. I still thought I was on normal.
Shia got worse in the later movies.
Is that where he's trying to talk to Megan Fox about cars?
Yes, the fucking scene in the back of the car. It was so it felt long at double speed.
Oh.
And I thought, how much of the movie did this take up? Unbearable.
A lot.
The jokes didn't make sense. Nothing's fun. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Yeah.
We got a minute and a half left. Kind of a nothing video so far, but he's not wrong. He's just sort of
nothing.
Yeah,
not making a point.
It's a case of not even wrong.
Foul ways if you stand against him, because it's his duty and his right.
Oh my god.
Optimus is one of the most interesting cases of the heroes that kill, because no matter what he does, we all seem to still trust and love him as watchers. He's
no, we don't.
Alone amongst
not
the
this.
vast
Not this Optimus.
that kill for quote-unquote good reasons. As someone
Not
who
my
seems to
Optimus.
revel in murder, but also maintains our respect. character complexity like this, I would say, is much more of an accident because I don't think Michael Bay really planned this, but it still goes to show how...
He's right about that.
Optimus Prime is accidentally complicated regardless of the writer? Really?
Oh, Michael Bay didn't plan this. Yeah, because he just writes random shit. It's all accidental garbage.
And Michael Bay is a moron. He is not a smart person.
He just tries to write from cool scene to cool scene like all these other Hollywood hacks that get paid too much.
That's like saying...
you open up a Michael Bay script and it just says CGI go boom.
Yeah, my favorite story is so good, the writer didn't even know it was so good. It just became amazing, and it just leapt off the page onto the screen, and I'm the guy who has the insight to figure that. It's like, yeah, Buffy's the greatest character ever. It's like,
Michael Bay is a meme. Michael Bay is the explosion meme. J.J. Abrams is the lens flare meme.
This is silly. Guys, if you write a story and you're like, my character is more intelligent than me, you are lying to yourself. You cannot write...
was the original bad video game adaptation meme.
Yeah, I said this years ago. You cannot write a super genius unless you are a super genius. You cannot write a war veteran unless you know about war veterans or you've been one. It's impossible. You cannot put something on the page that does not exist within you. You can guess. You can make stuff up.
Yeah, it'll just be a flawed, limited copy of the real thing.
It's a child imagining what being an adult is like, or whatever the dream might be. So
it's playing house.
It's not like, yeah, that's kind of what Transformers is, I guess. But for him to give it this much value, I'm not saying Transformers is some high art, complex drama that has these ideas in them. But for him to say that's like, dude, come on. You can't be serious. Michael Bay inadvertently wrote a fantastic script with this character. I really don't think so.
Do you still have the same respect for this guy as you had at the beginning?
Well, he's not stupid. Let's just say that. He's not biased to the point of being blinded by what he's saying, but I feel like this is
articulate.
Yes.
But is he
this is one of those cases where I have a YouTube channel, I'm going to make a video, and you're like, of what? I don't know. And he just made a video of stuff he likes.
I must feed the algorithm.
Maybe. I don't know. It just feels empty. This video felt like, here are scenes of characters I like that kill, and we like them. And somehow that translates to the creator of said media enjoyed doing that, and we enjoyed watching it. And I'm like, I don't know where this went. Because I could write a character. All the stories I write aren't easy. They're hard to do. It's not, I can't wait to sit down and write. No, it's, I need to sit down and write because my mind won't shut up, and it's hurting me. It's hurting my life. I got to spend the hour to get it out and then meditate or whatever else I need to do to calm down because it's tough. So writing is hard. And for him to say, well, I love writing Optimus Prime in my fanfic, I'm like, okay. I'm sure fangirls of Buffy did that, and fanboys of whatever stuff they like did that too. And that's great. I think it's a fine hobby. Nothing wrong with fiction. Go crazy. But I don't know how that translates to me writing a Batman that can kill felt good. I don't get it.
That's not playing Batman.
Even if I were to do that seriously, it would not be fun. It would be like, I got to take apart Batman to the point where he would have to do this and then build it and then fill in the gaps to say, I killed a man, now what? And then you have to go through this entire arc of Batman redeeming himself or becoming an entirely different character. And then you're no longer writing Batman.
I think you would mentally break if that ever happened.
Well, there are comics like Red Sun.
It's a soul shtick.
Where you have Batman. This is a silly example because Red Sun, everyone's different. Like Wonder Woman's different, Batman's different, and Superman is obviously different because he's communist. But
yeah, and it's where Batman lives in a world where he has to fight Superman as an actual villain. You can't make compromises there.
It's such a strange like Batman and Wonder Woman just pop up at roughly the same amount of time in that story, and you're like, this is very weird. Like I know Superman was changed. But why was Batman changed, and why Wonder Woman was pretty much the same, but she's Wonder Woman. She's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think stories like that would only really work and make sense if only this one aspect is changed.
Yeah.
If you change everything, it's just like,
Yes, Batman's suddenly in the commissar or wherever he was in Russia or the Soviet, because the Soviet Russia ruled the world, etc. So I'm like, okay, there's a lot of backstory from a guy from Gotham to get all the way to wherever he was in Russia to fight Batman in this very specific scenario. And he's got a bomb in his heart and all this other crazy shit. You're like, or his stomach. And I'm like, I can't. My brain is. This is different. This is not this. If the scenario was, the pod from Krypton landed in a certain part of Earth, you're like, everything else changed.
So. I think the main gist to take from Red Sun is that not even Superman could make communism.
They did a pretty good job for most of the time, and then
he still had to put brainwashing probes onto everyone.
Well, that would explain a lot of things for any scenario if you brainwash people.
He could even Superman could not make communism work. That should tell you everything.
He's got to do with those optic lobotomies he loves so much. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I like the guy, like his stuff, but this was not a good video and was unfocused without a given. We didn't learn anything, is what I'm trying to say. Like, what is this video? But I would love. I'm sure if we sat down and talked about what he was trying to say, like if he wrote a character that he liked killing, like a reverse murder mystery, or I don't know, a war story.
What would be your food analogy for this video?
I know. The label says dark chocolate, but they put in a lumps of sugar. So you think it's dark chocolate as soon as you bite into it. It's like, oh, this is going to be bitter. And all of a sudden, boom, this blast of sweetness. You're like, that's not dark chocolate. Like you could say on the label, it's dark chocolate unsweetened, but then the second ingredient would be sugar. So it's like, what the fuck? What are you doing?
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's hard to grasp this video. But anyway, thanks, guys. That was not too long. And I got work to do still, so I got to go run and get stuff done. So thank you so much for Dunn for popping in. Bad boy, always nice to see you. I'm not sure what's happening around in the world today in America and gaming, but I'm slowly getting information as I crawl up from my job. See what's going on.
Chat is crying for memes.
Oh, yeah, we got memes. I forgot about those. Let's see what we got. Doo-doo-doo. What did you guys do with this guy? Probably not much. Okay, Bud Light. Uh-oh. Why are you guys getting so upset over Dylan Mulvaney ad? It's just one can. Optimus Prime. You'll never stop at one. I'll take you all on. What?
He is correct.
Is that an axe or what are those two twin blades?
I don't know.
It's like a wrist blade or something like that.
I don't know. It's metal shit. Like as if it makes a difference with which part you hit the other robot. It's all metal shit.
Steven Universe versus Hitler. What if you could change your mind, Hitler? And then Hitler says nothing. I think we're gonna have it to kill this guy, Steven. And Steven says, "Damn." I thought they would just hug.
Why does Hitler have the same weird nose as Steven?
Don't they all have the same faces and mouths? Anyway.
It's deliberately putting the ugly Steven nose on everyone because it's so fucking horrible.
So here we have a kid pointing to a police officer saying actual superheroes, and the other kid saying they killed my dad.
Well, I guess your dad was an asshole.
Here we have Steven Universe female, and she's wearing Nazi paraphernalia. That's always fun.
He is a horrible character who's a control freak, so that fits.
Really?
Yeah.
I am watching annoying orange porn? What? I don't want to know. That's good enough.
Okay.
I don't get that one.
This one's from Gigaman. You are showing me the intro to Castlevania Symphony of the Night, where he loses all his stuff. Don't know why you did that. Was it a reference to something? I don't get it. All right. Geneva Convention, more like Geneva Suggestion. Spelling suggestion wrong.
Suggestion.
Suggestion. Yes, suggestion. It's français. C'est ça? And, of course, the flamethrower.
One of the best and most underused Simpsons characters.
Books are useless. I only ever read one book, To Kill a Mockingbird, and it gave me absolutely no insight on how to kill mockingbirds. Sure, it taught me not to judge a man by the color of his skin. What good does that do me?
Scorpio!
This is The Spy, and while you wait for the enemy, I blend in and sneak through the enemy and kill them. Oh. Thank you. Creates millions of jobs, overthrows inefficient and corrupt Senate, brings peace to galaxy, dies fighting terrorist rebels. Good guy Palpatine?
Make the galaxy great again?
Wasn't he the embodiment of, well, according to Lucas, the embodiment of evil? He was like the purest version. Hey, Dunn. You there, buddy?
I know.
Okay. We're almost done, don't worry. People. The Clone Wars is just a kid's show. Also them. Don't judge a book by its cover. The cover. And then you got Jar Jar. You got the Clone Wars. Then you got Ahsoka. You have the books. What was the book covers?
No, that's the content. Don't judge a book by its cover. And the book, being the content, is... Yeah, a lot of people actually get killed brutally in that show. And in the later seasons, that's actually good. That's where you see Favreau and Filoni at their best. And anytime they start a new show, they revert back to the absolute beginner bullshit.
All right. I think we're going to have to kill this guy. Nokama. What is this reference to? Nokama. Don't know.
I think the guy on the left I think that's Heisenberg from Resident Evil 8.
Then who's the green?
I don't know. I could be wrong.
Nokama. Nokama is a Toa. It's from Bionicle.
Oh.
Okay.
They're female Bionicles?
Yeah. Yeah, the blue one's always a girl.
I didn't know. I didn't know that. I only watched the Bionicle lore, all the lore together video for 4 hours of the 9 hours, and my brain was just fried.
So here we have King Dedede and Kirby, and King Dedede says, "I think you're gonna have to clobber that guy, Kirby."
Boyo.
Like, Boyo. How about just eat him? Like he always does.
That's what he does.
Yeah. And then he becomes them. He becomes his own worst enemy. How it feels to kill people. What?
I don't get the Knuckles meat thing.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Oh.
The hero we now need. San Francisco downtown, 6 miles.
That's the Coon.
Oh. Alrighty. Not every villain is like the Joker. Oh, those are very
We're
specific.
going to get to a juicy one in a minute.
Yeah. I saw my advantage and I took it. That's what heroes do. Really? If you hate that guy, then you're really going to hate this one where he shit on Lord of the Rings. Meanwhile, he writes one of the worst Star Wars books. This guy wrote a Star Wars book?
Oh God, not Chuck.
Yeah, he wrote Aftermath.
Oh, this is Chuck Wendig.
A universally, yeah. May he be sodomized by a cactus.
Yeah, I stopped reading this guy years ago, or reading his tweets.
He sucks.
Yeah, no, he's
your feast scene is too long. Your world is too white and male and straight, and ironically not fantastical. What happened in medieval England is not relevant to Imagica the Dragonlands. Some are saying, but these are not unpopular opinions. I would posit they are. Yeah, I shouldn't be commenting much. I don't read white or read the genre very often, ? So I'm trampling in someone else's territory. the series, killing characters is a cheap way of building emotional effect. Read the Expanse instead.
Ugh, the Expanse kills characters, and the author just has a foreign woman fetish.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
All right. What do we got here? I know I was complacently involved in a lot of evil things, but have you considered the fact I said I was sorry? Is this a character we should know?
I don't know.
No idea.
I don't know. I've never seen that
weird.
person.
There it is, the original Vampire Saga, Kindred the Embrace. Well, I guess that's a title screen of something. I don't know.
I have to admit, I have so far only watched the first episode.
I like it's the basic setup of a White Wolf scenario.
It's a bit difficult to get into from the first episode because it's very cheesy.
It's old. You could tell it's aged so well or so.
It's early 90s.
I thought it was late 90s.
It's not as old as you think.
Yeah.
It's as old as Babylon 5. It just didn't have a budget.
Yeah. I just like the characters, and the setup was. It was just like what they could afford, just the right amount.
They actually made the Nosferatu ugly.
Yeah, they could have done a lot better with the henchman guy who was like the right hand man, but he has to go around in public, so it's like, okay, he can't look too crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, they made the Malkavian not outright autistic, insane weirdo, but just a bit odd, which is much more on point.
Heroes don't kill people, villains kill people. I'll kill anyone that with me or my that lover. Oh, so Deadpool?
Can you try writing sentences that are grammatically correct, please?
Well,
it's hard to read.
Maybe they're quoting Deadpool. I have no idea.
I don't think Deadpool is grammatically incorrect.
I'm an anti-hero. I am anti-hero. And then Deadpool's like, what?
Yeah, because Harley Quinn sucks. Especially the DCU Harley Quinn.
Yeah, what they did with her in movies is kind of weird.
Yeah, the animated series that created her is basically the only good depiction of her I've ever seen.
It was symbolism. He was mad. Okay. Here's a man that definitely deserves to die. He ruined Deadpool's life and mutilating his face, leaving his face to look like that. An older avocado having sex with another avocado and kidnapping his girl. Oh, that's that guy whose mutant power is he doesn't feel pain.
Ajax.
Is that his guy? One of the dumbest.
Well, that's what he called himself, but Deadpool found out his real name was Francis, and he kept teasing him about that.
What a weird superpower! I don't feel pain. It's like that's not a good thing.
That's not really a superpower. That's actually like a real medical condition.
Yeah, where your fast and slow pain response through your C fiber or A delta fibers just don't work. It does. You don't know if your hand's on fire. You have no idea. You can't.
Yeah,
feel.
That's an actual medical condition. Yeah, I forget the name of it. It's a long one, but yeah.
Oh boy. People when John Walker killed someone. Oh my God. People when Sam blew up multiple helicopters with people in them and pulling people out of them so they can fall to their deaths.
Mm-hmm. Sam was the villain in that story.
Sam was an
what
idiot.
A piece of shit. He was just a fucking piece of shit the entire story. He was the worst character I've ever seen in a long time.
Is this the video of Shad where he talks about how the stick that Rey had in Star Wars was really good, or?
Get stick. I don't know what that's from.
Yeah,
I don't know, but he likes sticks.
Okay, give me your face.
And he hasn't understood yet that the Tonfa is an improved stick.
He doesn't like the Tonfa? Tonfa's amazing. It's like a billy club, but weapon defensive. It's reinforcement. It's fantastic. Anyway.
Yeah, it's one of the few improvised weapons that are actually better than the original. And it's just a farming tool as well, just like all this other crap.
Mm-hmm.
Roger. He died for your sins. Is that Optimus?
Optimus Prime died for your sins. That's
You think Optimus Prime is badass with his kills? Go play Doom. Well, you are.
Yeah, Doom's way better.
You are you are the Doom Slayer, so it's kind of obvious. Because I now know the true meaning of oppression and have thus lost my taste for inflicting it. Best Megatron end?
I would agree.
Oppression.
Yeah.
That's a weird... I've been oppressed!
Basically.
Yeah, but that's his whole shtick for why he made a Decepticon.
Really?
Well, basically the idea is that Megatron was subjugated to mind control by Unicron, and
Jesus.
after that, when he got freed from Unicron's control, he decided, you know what, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm just gonna leave all this behind. Not really interested anymore, in trying to be king of the universe.
Yeah, Unicron's another scale of difference. Okay, we got Bowser and we got Dr. Robotnik. What's going on? Was it crossover? Like, what's going on here? Or this is some fans' creation of Sega?
This is a game. I don't know what that's a video game.
Sega and Nintendo? I don't know.
Maybe Mario Party?
Really? They combined? They got the...
I don't know. I don't know what game that happened.
I can't see Sega and Nintendo ever making a game together.
Sonic is already basically a Nintendo thing.
Oh?
Sonic, yeah, he's been in so many Nintendo games at this point.
No. We could finally feel represented because of a black Ariel. Yes, that's literally me. What?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Everybody wants to be the virtuous leader who self-sacrifices.
It turns into a truck. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
And
it's
basically Jesus.
Oh.
Robo Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he's Robo Jesus. Do you know how many times he resurrected?
Yeah.
Jesus doesn't hold a cup to that.
And
he is... Sorry, go for it.
What is that? I don't know.
That's Shia LaBeouf?
No, there's something.
Yeah, that's Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, that's Shia.
Yeah, but what is the next one? It's Optimus Prime and stuff on the ground.
A bunch of toys. Like an axe? Yeah, they look like toys.
Don't know.
I don't know either.
He's a Lego.
This, at least we can agree on. Planet of the Apes was a fine picture. What? When will it end? We're almost done. Maybe I'm biased. I still like Batflick and the warehouse fight scene. Well, yeah, that was the only good part of the film.
Yeah, that was the only good. Yeah, it's DCEU. Terrible movies. There's only one good movie that they've come out with in a long time, and that's Joker. Joker's the only good DCEU movie in DC movie, period, for a long time.
I think because we've all played or have seen clips of Arkham and the games.
Yeah, I have that game. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, so when you see the live action version of Arkham, you're like, oh, this is amazing. But it only lasted 2 minutes. It's like, oh. Watch this for a better supernatural action show.
Okay, it goes on the list.
Caro?
I think that's a G.
Garo. That armor looks like amazing. That looks rad.
Yeah, it does.
It kind of does, but it kind of looks like Power Rangers. That's it, or Power Rangers knockoff. That's what
all these live action things look like that.
Yeah,
Mario
true.
and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Thank you.
Oh,
I had no idea.
I forget all these Mario sports games exist.
Tokyo 2020. Did Sega and Nintendo go, hey guys, it's been decades. Let's just, make a Olympic game together.
Smart.
What?
Sonic has been in Smash Brothers for over a decade at this point.
That's just Sega saying, here's our IP, give us some money. That's pretty much all they're doing.
Didn't you? Sega's dead, basically. They
just
make stuff for others now.
They let off, they fired like 50 people last week.
Not just last week. I mean, they lost the console war in eternity.
Yeah, no, they're still around, but in terms of size, they're dinky. They're tiny.
Yes, Damon, I have seen Cashion. It was confusing.
Oh, don't watch Cashion. Please don't. She's just
It was better than Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Okay, but that's, I mean, you're comparing...
It was also black and white.
CGI in the desert. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Oh, boy. So girls want to be Ariel, and I guess the guys want to be...
It just it basically shows that type of girl that can only identify with characters that look like her,
right.
While boys identify with cool characters that they want to be. That's the big difference. So the boys have actual empathy, the girls don't.
I would argue it's not girls, it's just that version of a girl who says silly things.
Well, this is why we see all these self-inserts by these horrible borderline women. Because they want all the characters to be them. They can't identify with characters that don't look like them. That's the problem.
Anyway, thank you guys. That was a fun little... Well, it was a video. I wouldn't say it was fun, but it was kind of like...
It was a video.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was just like, what the heck is happening? But it wasn't stupid. That's the bonus. This guy is not dumb. He just said stuff without a point or things he liked. He just talked about stuff he enjoyed, which is not how you make a video. You need to have a point, unfortunately. So, thanks, guys, for joining, and keep the suggestions going. I don't know if we're going to do anything tomorrow because stuff is happening with everyone else.
Is it?
There's a video suggestion they want a Smud Talk to do or something else. I don't know.
Yeah, but we can only do that on Monday or Friday.
We could do another ask around and say when you guys free because schedules change.
No, because Gingerman wants Cyrek on for that, and he can only do Monday or Friday.
Okay, so for that video, Monday or Friday, we can do another video tomorrow or Sunday, whatever you guys will like.
Yeah, we do have a plan for this week.
Okay, all right, just making sure. Good to know.
Yeah. Also, shameless shill. Anyone who wants to hear me ramble for 4 hours about Neil deGrasse Tyson saying, after 8 months, I have done the thing on my channel again.
And my only experience with Neil deGrasse Tyson is him showing up in Sharknado 5.
Oh, God. I remember that, sadly.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he was Merlin.
Yeah.
Right.
That was...
Yeah, and you had a dude in drag playing Morgana Le Fay.
Yeah, that was special. B-movies at the best, yeah.
Yeah, that is what I would classify as a B-movie.
It is... It has to be...
That's like...
How else would you tell that story if it wasn't completely retarded?
That's like hearing Patrick Stewart in Dragonheart 5.
No, I mean, I never got that far with Dragonheart. I thought I watched the first one, so I don't know what they did.
I only, like 3 years ago, I only learned that there's more than one movie. And I regret learning that.
Anyway,
it is a long-running bad series, but yeah.
All right. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. We will talk soon, I'm sure. Tell us when and about what on the Discord. Anyway.
All right.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.